It's Rice. What a goal! Declan Rice with an absolute rocket!
Scoring 2 free kicks in one game is rare enough, but doing it against a team like Real Madrid, now that's next level.
Done it.
And this guy made it look
What a
easy.
tremendous performance!
When Declan Rice first made that blockbuster move to Arsenal, the headlines exploded and the price tag turned a lot of heads, and not always in a good way. Plenty of fans were skeptical, wondering if he was really worth all that money. But fast forward to today, and it's a completely different story.
We got him half price. We got him half price. Declan Rice. We got him half price.
Now you'd be hard-pressed to find a single fan who doesn't see Declan Rice as pure class. Week after week, game after game, he's been stepping onto the pitch and showing exactly why Arsenal went all in for him. But getting to this level of dominance wasn't just handed to him. Declan had to grind, fight, and push through a lot to become the powerhouse he is today. Declan's story kicks off on January 14, 1999, when he made his grand entrance into the world in London, England. And right from the jump, football wasn't just something Declan liked, it was stitched into his DNA. Even as a tiny toddler, if it was round, Declan was chasing it, kicking it, and living his best life. Football, tennis ball, basketball, it didn't matter. If it rolled, it was game on. His parents caught on fast. The little guy wasn't just another kid kicking a ball around. He had something. And a lot of that early fire came from his dad, Sean, who would take him down to the local park, tossing him the ball and cheering him on just a few steps away. Those simple afternoons built the rock-solid foundation that would define Declan's future. But here's the thing. Declan's rise wasn't the usual polished, academy-trained path you hear about. No. While other kids were getting spotted by scouts at fancy youth leagues, Declan was out there doing it old school, learning the game on the streets, in the parks, and anywhere there was a scrap of grass and a ball at his feet. So while others were stacking up trophies in under-8s leagues, Declan was out there toughing it, sharpening his instincts on the playgrounds and in street matches. He still wasn't playing for any official team when a new opportunity came knocking. His cousin, already involved with Chelsea's youth academy, pushed for him to get a shot. But there was a problem. Chelsea didn't want to try a kid who wasn't even playing organised football. Still, Declan wasn't about to give up. He managed to squeeze into a pre-trial, turned heads with his natural ability, and earned a spot at a full Chelsea trial. From there, everything started clicking. In 2006, at just 7 years old, Declan Rice signed with Chelsea's academy, right as the club was undergoing a major transformation under Roman Abramovich's ownership and Jose Mourinho's leadership. Chelsea was becoming a powerhouse, and little Declan was now a part of the ride. At Chelsea, he was living the dream, playing alongside his best mate Mason Mount in the youth teams. Chelsea wasn't just a club to him, it was home, barely 10 minutes from the training ground. But life in that academy, man, it was brutal. Only the mentally toughest kids made it through. Even as a teenager, Rice had to fight off serious doubts, seeing his teammates not just as friends, but as rivals he had to beat to survive. It wasn't pretty, but with pure grit, heart, and a stubborn refusal to quit, he clawed his way up the ranks, eventually earning a spot in the ultra-competitive under-14s. But the dream started to crumble in 2013. At just 14 years old, Chelsea let him go.
Honestly, to this day, I still honestly don't know the exact reason. I wish I did. I think it was probably down to the fact that when I was a kid, I was actually tiny. I was going through a massive growth spurt at the time.
It hit him hard. This was a club he had lived and breathed since he was a kid, and suddenly it was all gone. That rejection sent him spiraling into a tough battle with depression, something any young footballer who's been through the brutal world of academy football could understand. In that dark moment, a lifeline came from none other than club legend John Terry. Terry wasn't just a superstar to Rice, he was the player Rice idolised, the one he modelled his whole game after. Out of nowhere, Terry called him, a 45-minute conversation that Rice would never forget. Sitting with his dad in his room, listening to his hero share advice about resilience and hard work, Rice found a spark again. It was the motivation he needed to keep going. Soon, interest came knocking. Fulham and Tottenham showed serious intent, but it was David Hunt, the former head of academy recruitment at West Ham, who convinced him to swap the west side for the east side of London. It turned out to be a game-changing move, even though it started off rocky. At just 15, Rice left his family home in Kingston to move into club housing in Romford. It was tough. He missed home like crazy and often begged his parents to come pick him up. But he wasn't alone. Key figures like Hunt, Academy Director Tony Carr, and coaches Liam Manning, Steve Potts, and Mark Phillips helped him find his feet. Perhaps no one had a bigger impact than Dennis Lepine, the minibus driver who became a father figure during those early days. Even with all that support, it wasn't smooth sailing. Back then, the big name at West Ham was Reece Oxford, the teenage sensation who stunned Arsenal in a famous 2-0 win at the Emirates. Meanwhile, Rice found himself way down the pecking order. Other players secured professional contracts before him, and the fear of being released a second time hung heavy over his head. But West Ham eventually took a chance. On May 2, 2015, Rice, alongside Jake Eggleton, Jamal Hector Ingram, and Anthony Scully, signed his scholarship deal at halftime during a match against Burnley, right there on the pitch at Upton Park. From there, everything started moving fast. Just 7 months later, Rice locked down his first professional contract and began turning heads with the under-23 squad. By November 2017, he snagged the Premier League 2 Player of the Month award, and he wasn't done yet. Come March 2018, he scooped up another massive honor, the Under-19 Player of the Year award. That win? It blew the door wide open for his big break into the senior team. His first step onto the scene came on August 19, 2017, when he made his debut for West Ham's senior team in a tough 3-2 loss to Southampton. Not the dream start, but Rice was just getting warmed up. Fast forward to April 2018 and he was already making waves, finishing second in the Hammer of the Year award voting for the 2017-18 season, right behind Marko Arnautovic. Then, on January 12, 2019, he bagged his very first goal for the club in a massive 1-0 win over Arsenal. Fast forward to April and Rice was in the spotlight again, getting nominated for the PFA Young Player of the Year award. Sure, Raheem Sterling ended up taking it home, but no worries, Rice still snagged West Ham's Player of the Year award, a huge shout out from the fans who absolutely loved him. But while Rice was becoming a rising star on the pitch, a whole different battle was brewing off it. Born in Kingston upon Thames in London, he was eligible to play for Ireland through his grandparents from Cork. He'd already represented Ireland at youth levels and even played for the senior team in friendlies and the World Cup qualifier. Things got serious when England started calling, and suddenly Rice found himself in a tug-of-war between two nations. At first, Rice was caught in the middle, left out of squads, unsure about what path to take. Mick McCarthy, the Ireland boss, made a desperate last push, offering Rice the captaincy and the chance to be the centerpiece of Ireland's future. But in February 2019, Rice made his choice official. He would play for England. The decision wasn't easy, and sadly, it brought a wave of online abuse, including death threats. Despite all the drama, Rice quickly found his feet with England. Gareth Southgate handed him his first start on March 25, 2019, in a dominant 5-1 win over Montenegro. From there, Rice's England career took off. He became a crucial part of the team that reached the Euro 2020 final, playing every game and earning huge praise for his performances. He then started every match for England at the 2022 World Cup, helping them reach the quarter-finals before a narrow loss to France. Meanwhile, back at West Ham, another saga was unfolding. Despite being offered a staggering £200,000 a week deal, which would have made him the highest-paid player in the club's history, Rice made it clear he had bigger ambitions. He wanted trophies. He wanted European glory. But he stayed loyal to his promise. No transfer requests, no drama, just a player determined to leave the right way. And what a send-off it was. In his final game for West Ham, Rice captained the team to a dramatic victory over Fiorentina in the Europa Conference League final, lifting West Ham's first major trophy in decades. It was the perfect farewell because shortly after, Rice made a blockbuster move to Arsenal. In a transfer that shattered records, Arsenal secured him for £105 million, making him the most expensive signing ever and tying the record for the highest fee paid for an English player alongside Jack Grealish. Rice's journey with Arsenal blasted off in style on August 6, 2023, when he made his debut against none other than Manchester City in the FA Community Shield. And Arsenal? Oh, they didn't just show up. They snatched the trophy in a heart-pounding 4-1 penalty shootout after a tense 1-1 draw. Rice looked right at home from the jump, but he wasn't done making noise. Fast forward to September 3rd and he bagged his very first goal for Arsenal. Talk about announcing yourself on the big stage. The milestones just kept coming. As Rice closed in on his 50th game for Arsenal, the England national team dropped a bombshell. He'd be captaining his country for the very first time. It all went down in March 2024 against Belgium, a massive moment for any player, but especially for someone still finding his feet at a new club. And the ride didn't stop there. On June 6th, Rice punched his ticket into England's 26-man squad for the UEFA Euros 2024. Hopes were sky high, but heartbreak followed. England made it all the way to the final, only to fall agonizingly short against Spain. So close yet again. But Rice didn't let it break his stride. Back at Arsenal, he kept proving, week after week, exactly why the club had invested so heavily in him. There was a dramatic game against Luton Town, where he delivered when Arsenal needed it most. By this point, there was no doubt, Rice was every bit the powerhouse Arsenal had hoped for. Still, if there's one moment that truly captured just how important Rice had become, it was the unforgettable match against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals this season. Heading into that match, even the most loyal Arsenal fans had a few nerves. After all, they were up against Real Madrid, the undisputed kings of the Champions League. But amid all the doubts, one man rose above the chaos and truly stole the night: Declan Rice. And Rice wasn't finished. Just 12 minutes later, he did it again. There was absolutely nothing Courtois could do to stop them. 2 moments of pure magic that had everyone, even Rice himself, shaking their heads in disbelief. According to Opta, Rice became the first player in Champions League history to score 2 direct free kicks in a single knockout match, a staggering achievement. He also joined an elite group, becoming only the 5th player ever to score 2 free kicks in a Champions League game, rubbing shoulders with legends like Ronaldo, Neymar and Rivaldo. But what made it even sweeter was that Rice was the first to ever do it against Real Madrid, the tournament's most successful club. That was history being written right there on the North London turf. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to Matchday Moments for more content like this.